just want to move on to our next topic on the recent FIR that is filed against the ex-finance secretary, Mr. Arvind Mayaram. He's been charged of cheating, criminal conspiracy, and corruption for allegedly granting extension to the Delaru, a
Yeah,
UK-based firm.
yeah.
And what are your thoughts, initial thoughts on that, and how do you see this?
Better late than never is a first reaction, because when P. Chidambaram was a finance minister, the awarding of this contract to this firm Delaru was done, and then Aravind Mayaram was the secretary responsible for enabling this. Then Pranab Mukherjee took over as finance minister, found that irregularities are being happening. See, it is not just irregularity in the contract. As a sovereign nation, we need to ensure that if you are supplying security features to my currency, if you are supplying inks or papers to my country's currency, you should restrict them from selling this to any other country, especially to our neighbor, right? Who is not a friend, who is actually trying to create restlessness in the country. So Pranab Mukherjee, when he became a finance minister, rightfully rectified this flaw and then cancelled the contract. But imagine in 2012, once again, Chidambaram becomes finance minister.
I think he
And
also
then,
blacklisted Delaru in
yeah,
2010. Yeah.
yeah, 2010, Pranab Mukherjee blacklisted Delaru. And then 2012, the blacklisting was removed. And then immediately, the contract was revived. Worst case is our printing machines, which are probably to be modernized, the old printing machine should have been discarded and then scrapped. Instead, it was sold on an auction. So what Pakistan got was the machine on which Indian currencies are printed. They had access to the security features to Delaru. Whatever the security thread was supplied, they bought ink from Delaru, through Delaru, and then they bought paper from them. So Pakistan had a parallel RBI or parallel Nasik like facility set up, and then print our own currency. Can't even you can't declare that as a counterfeit currency, because probably the serial numbers would match, all security features would match. So what is issued by RBI and what is issued by counterfeit, fraudulently printed by Pakistan are look-alike. So this is the reason why 2016, when demonetization of 500 and 1,000 happened, a lot of people like us were supporting this action, not because we believed that all the black money would come into play, come into banking system, 3-4 lakh crores would be recovered, and then not because of that, because we believed that Pakistan probably printed around 15 trillion, or like 15 lakh crores worth of 500s and 1,000, which is not just look-alike, it is much better than the original, or the as good as the original.
If that's the
Imagine
reason,
if
why not this reason be stated to the people?
how can a government state that reason to the people? Which means you are admitting government as a government. Forget about whether it's a
No,
Congress
now
government or
the
a
same has happened. You've filed a charge sheet against a IAS officer, ex-IAS officer.
yes.
Who served as
Until
a
the proofs
finance
are
secretary.
out. Imagine if the government has declared this as a reason. You see, even today, whatever that 15 lakh crores I'm talking about is not an official figure, or it is not a truth, or it may be a fact, it may not be a fact. It could be just 1 lakh crore, or it could be 15 lakh crores. But the series of event that has happened is happened. One is Delaru had supplied security measures, security thread and ink to Indian currency printing. They have also supplied that to Pakistan. Then papers have been supplied by them. The same thing has been supplied to Pakistan. We auctioned our old machine. Ideally, a wise nation would scrap that machine, printing machine, because you don't need that few crores of revenue. You can afford to dump it. You can scrap it and then break that and then scrap that machine. Why did we auction it? Then it was auctioned and then bought by someone in London, which went to Pakistan. Immediately, dot should be connected. As a wise sovereign nation, we should have ensured our national security. In fact, Congress government should have demonetized all the 500s and 1,000s. And it was too late from Modi government to do that. It is already 2 years after they took over, only they did this demonetization, right? Now, the stronger reason for demonetization, or at least the conspiracy theory exists now. Why the demonetization happened, how it happened in a secret mode. Supreme Court 5-member bench unanimously, it's not a dissent judgment, unanimously, even the fifth judge agreed that demonetization objectives were valid. Only the fifth judge, Justice Nagaratnam, dissented on the amendment that happened to the section 27 or 27.2 or 26.2 of RBA Act, where the entire series can be demonetized. Otherwise, that section clearly says only one series of note can be demonetized or withdrawn from circulation because RBI thinks that there are some issues in that particular series of currency. So the entire that change is what is unconstitutional or illegal as per Justice Nagaratnam. Otherwise, the 5-member bench unanimously agreed that demonetization was a valid act and then objectives are valid. Okay. So in this case, it is just the tip of the iceberg that has come out. Okay. Arresting Arvind Mayaram is just the tip of the iceberg because he was the one who was involved as a IAS officer. But I think much deeper.
Yeah, I want to ask this, sir. Yes, exactly. That's what my next question is about. In 2012, the blacklisting of Delaru has been lifted. On what grounds was it lifted? Any because I searched and I couldn't find any clear reasons as to why the blacklisting was lifted.
There's no reason. It is only quid pro quo is the only reason one could say, right? Because as a finance ministry, they had the right, as a minister has a right to lift the blacklisting because it was within ministerial level. Ideally, what Pranab Mukherjee should have done is he should have done a cross-ministerial ban because he should have involved Home Minister. But that time, Home Minister was Chidambaram, so he would not have cooperated. So what the good intentioned Pranab Da did was he actually blacklisted them from the any contracts to them from Finance Ministry. Okay. Ideally, the Manmohan Singh government should have taken this seriously and then filed a charge sheet on them, on Delaru itself, then and there when they found this out. But God only knows who were all involved in that. Maybe the first family also could have been involved in that. We don't know. Okay, I can only put aspersion. I can only cast aspersions on them, but we don't know what has actually happened. So this case is going to unearth whether P. Chidambaram, hand in that, whether Gandhi family hand is in that. So if those things come out, it is a serious issue that comes out against the Congress party. Second thing is, imagine, since the demonetization, Pakistan's economy started going down the drain. There's another coincidental happening, right? It is just not only Pakistan, even Sri Lanka's economy started going down after the demonetization slowly. Until then, their economy was rebounding. In fact, people started saying, look at Sri Lanka, look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh. Their economy, their per capita income is larger than India. India is not growing. India is slacking behind. But all the three economies that we are talking about is gone down the drain, including Bangladesh. Bangladesh today is ran out of foreign exchange, waiting for, there are about 56 billion worth of goods that to be offloaded. The ships are just waiting there because they couldn't pay. The ships they are not offloading the food grains. They are going to run out of food grains shortly. Pakistan already ran out of food grains. They are just on the streets fighting for food. Sri Lanka, we all know, last year itself is become, what do you call? Bankrupt. Sri Lanka already become bankrupt. Pakistan is going to become bankrupt in another few weeks. Bangladesh maybe another few more months. It's going to become bankrupt. All the three economies survived and maybe flourished until the demonetization happened. Post demonetization, all the three economies started losing down, and then in now 6 years, all the three economies have gone down the drain. So there are dots to be connected, and then someone has to do a research and then find out whether this money that has been printed illegally in Pakistan was being supplied to these three nations and then used as a pumping countries, and that is why these countries have been surveying around. All these are conspiracy theory, madam, at this point in time, but the dots are existing. If one
So
connects the dots
you
or
feel that.
events,
Mm-hmm. Go
one
ahead.
one connects these dots and events, one can find out that our neighboring states flourished when Congress was in power, and then neighboring states started going down, their economy started failing when BJP was, I especially came back to power in 2019. Imagine the amount of stone pelting and all these terrorist activities used to happen in Kashmir. Today, still happening. I'm not saying that it is fully 100% safe, but today it is gone. It is almost near zero. Incidents. Okay, you don't get to see that on a daily basis, right? So that is why demonetization. When the pundits who claim that demonetization was a flaw, I still say that demonetization was a strategic move, not to improve the economy, not to safeguard the economy, not for eradicating black money, but it was a national security issue. I've been talking about this in various forums and debates and writing about it since 2016. Because I don't have access to the government data, I was not, my conspiracy theory probably was, couldn't be proved. But today, I confidently say that the conspiracy theory that I was talking in various debates and TV discussions and my write-ups is being vindicated, right? Because it is a bigger national security issue. Demonetization should not be looked at as a economic activity. It was a national security threat that was averted. I think in this case, Arvind Mayaram's arrest and charge sheet proves one step further towards proving that it is what that government in 2012 did was a gross national security violation.
Okay, so two questions to me in this regard. What are the probabilities of Mr. P. Chidambaram getting summoned by the CBI, and what are the probabilities of Mr. P. Chidambaram getting arrested for inquiry?
Um, Maybe unless Arvind Mayaram has some documentary evidence and becomes, comes forward to, tell the truth, it is going to be very difficult. Maybe P. Chidambaram could be summoned because, there could be some amount of evidence that could exist to summon him for inquiry. But getting arrested, there has to be a very strong case. Otherwise, victimhood would be played,
Mhm.
and he will have a lot of legal recourse. He could fight the case in the court and then say that he was grossly mischarged. So unless there is a very strong evidence that comes out from Arvind Mayaram and other people, because most of the time ministers issue a verbal order. There's no written order that happens. So if the verbal order had been issued and the bureaucrat which that obeyed, because they probably would have had a hand in glove in that particular transaction. So the verbal order is obeyed, and then there won't be any documentary proof or any other circumstantial evidence that would be there. But I'm still sure that CBI has a good amount of hold on this case. They have not acted in haste, because a lot of people claim that even in Tamil Nadu, across the nation, say that why is Modi government not cracked on 2G spectrum case? Why they have not cracked on various other corruption cases of Congress? Unless the Modi government, unless otherwise there is a clear cut case, that there is a foolproof evidences are there, they are not going to take action. Because otherwise what would happen is the ecosystem that the Congress has built over 70 years will spring into action and then say it is witch hunting by BJP. So
So
that is
probably
why
the 5 years tenure of investigation by the CBI was to get some strong
strong
evidence.
evidence.
So it took 5 years for CBI to tell that Arvind
Of course.
Mayaram signed a expired contract, and it
Yeah,
took
see,
5 years
Arvind
for
Mayaram,
CBI to say that Arvind Mayaram
signing an
signed.
expired contract could be one, but you need to prove the effect of it was, against the national interest, right? So those evidences had to come from various places. See, when you look at the way CBI or the police, the agencies, law enforcement agencies work, one is they can quickly do a knee-jerk reaction, arrest someone, and then do an interrogation, get some statements from them, and then proceed from there. Another way is piece by piece, collect certain evidences, fill the jigsaw puzzle, and then make a foolproof case on that, where the culprit will not be able to escape in the eyes of law, right? See, otherwise, what happened if Arvind Mayaram was arrested in 2017-18 itself? He would have got a bail. He would have probably, run out of the country. Then, we need to go for extradition treaties and all those stuff. And then, a lot of evidences could have been erased, because if Arvind Mayaram has been arrested, then there exists some amount of evidence. So others who are involved probably would have erased evidences. See, imagine one thing. If I am a bureaucrat, if I am involved in something and my minister gives an order, or someone who is in the, not the IAS officer, but the cadre below, works on that, because all these things is not put on a file in a written statement. It's all verbal order, and then finally the actions are taken. So I, as an individual, would want to protect myself and then start creating certain evidences to protect myself. Those are the evidences that CBI unearthed one raid after other, because there could be some incriminating evidences that comes up. So they were able to build the case against Arvind Mayaram, who cannot escape on from a legal tangle, and then goes for a kill, right? It takes time. It takes 5 years, 6 years, 7. Even now, it will take another 5-6 years even before he is convicted, because our law gives a long rope for him to ask for certain other benefits, ask for certain other reliefs, and it will take much more time for conviction to be extracted from the court. Even after getting the conviction, this guy will appeal to the High Court, Supreme Court. All those hangama would happen. But at least now they have narrowed down that there is a illegal activity, national security, against the national security has happened, and now BJP will be in a position after this FIR and charge sheet, that why their demonetization was essential. Okay, it is just not the reasons that were told that time. Now they can come out and say, this is the reason why we did that. Now the proofs also exist outside the country. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka economy going down the drain, becoming bankrupt. So all those proofs exist, and then say why demonetization. In fact, why demonetization kept our economy vibrant. I would say that demonetization was one of the measures that kept our economy vibrant. Otherwise, we also would have gone down the drain. 15 lakh crores, if that number is true, if 15 lakh crores of valid currency has been pumped into our economy, we would be Pakistan, current Pakistan in 2017 itself. We would have been current Pakistan, because everybody will have cash. Everybody would have cash. Inflation rate would have skyrocketed. Today in Pakistan, the inflation rate is somewhere around 200% for wheat. I think 288% is the inflation rate for wheat alone. I'm talking. Rest of the things put together about 38-40% if the wholesale price index inflation is looked at. But wheat alone, which is a prominent food commodity, is at 288%. In the last 3 months, it has increased, right? So I think demonetization saved our economy, looking at all these aspects. So Arvind Mayaram is probably a tip of the iceberg of the larger conspiracy that had happened. We need to wait and see how much of this is going to be unearthed in the days to come.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable feedback and your valuable thoughts with us. It's a great pleasure having you on Chanakya. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.